Hi everyone, welcome to Dit Dot. My name is Amanda. Tonight I am making an old favorite that I haven't made in a very long time. I like to call them butternut squash pizzas. Let's get started. This is one of those dishes that is cooked in several parts and then kind of assembled towards the end. So the first thing that we're gonna do is brown up some breakfast sausage. I like this regular Jimmy Dean, but whatever your favorite breakfast sausage is what is going to be really good in this recipe. Also, I'm not gonna lie, I did a deep clean on this kitchen this morning and I honestly almost want to go out to dinner tonight instead of getting it all dirty. But alas, dinner must be made. So while we get this sausage starting to cook over here in the background, we are going to start peeling this beautiful butternut squash. Also, if you want to do your own, you could also get ground pork and add your favorite seasonings like sage and fennel, salt, pepper, that kind of thing. But I just like to do a pre-made sausage. It has been a while since I've actually prepped up a butternut squash. So I happen to have 3 different types of peelers, so we're gonna figure out which one works the best. For this dish, if you can be selective at the grocery store and try to find a butternut squash that has a really wide, thick neck, that's gonna give you really nice slices that we're gonna use to work with. But this one, my father-in-law actually made for me, but he does wood spinning, so he's made some different tools, and it might actually be the best one. That works really good. Let me try this blue one. I got this one for Christmas from my mom. No, it's not even wanting to dig in there at all. And then this guy, I need to replace this one. I absolutely love this peeler. I use it for most things. I'm not a big fan of the Y-shaped one for like carrots and other things, but yeah, I think the Y-shaped one is the winner for the butternut squash. So here's another funny tidbit about me. There's something about butternut squash. I actually usually use gloves when I'm peeling it because while I don't seem to have a problem eating butternut squash, when I am prepping it, my hands will kind of have a reaction, but I don't have any gloves right now, so we'll just see what happens. Let me stir this sausage. I'm gonna turn it down. And then, oh, the other thing we wanna do is preheat our oven so that our squash can go in. So I went ahead and preheated it to 400 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and just peel this squash up and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm gonna put down a piece of parchment paper. You could just oil it, whatever you want, on a cookie sheet. We're gonna go ahead and slice this squash up. So good reminder that if you have a garbage disposal, things like squash peelings and potato peelings and eggshells are not usually great for a garbage disposal and to go ahead and put them in compost or your trash. And I just learned the other day that garbage disposals aren't very common in England. So if you're one of my England viewers, can you let me know if you've got a garbage disposal? Okay, you're gonna wanna cut them about ½ an inch thick, and you wanna be kind of consistent. So this is part of the tricky part. So about that wide. Look at me on my tiptoes to get some leverage. I'm so short. I'm actually 5'2". My kids, my twins, are taller than me. Maddie's 5'6", and Izzy is like 5'5.5", I think. Okay. So what I usually do is I try to get out enough, like for me and my husband to have like 2 of these, and the girls will probably only want 1 each. So if I can get out 1 more here and this is a really good size butternut squash. I was really lucky to find this one that makes these perfect discs. There we go. And then once you get down to this bottom part, you'll get to the seeds. And I go ahead and cook it all up, and I'll either It won't make as pretty presentation as the flat discs, but they still taste good, right? All right. Oh. So once you get to the seed part, you can use like a melon scooper or something, or just a spoon, whatever you have, to scoop them out. My sausage is mostly done, and since I'm cooking it in my cast iron skillet, which will still keep it up to temperature for a while, I just turned it off and it'll finish cooking in there for me. My friends who are vegetarian or vegan, this would be really good. I tend to substitute mushrooms a lot for vegetarian or vegan type dishes. If you are a vegetarian or vegan, what would you substitute the sausage for? That isn't soy crumbles. I'm not a big fan of soy substitutions. I like to substitute with other types of vegetables if possible. But yeah, like sauteing like a bunch of mushrooms with the sage and fennel and to give it like kind of sausagey taste, I think would be really good. Okay, so this one is actually almost a disc. It just has a little bit of seed there. So if you put it face down, it would look really pretty presentation-wise. I mean, not that I'm all about presentation. Y'all seen my thumbnails. Food photography is not my strong suit, and it is something that I am trying to work on because, you know, for you to click on this thumbnail to watch this video, you have to want to actually think it's a pretty tasty looking dish. And sometimes my food tastes good, but we need to work on how it looks. Now, you gotta be really, really careful and safe when you get to the end here. Sometimes it is just not worth your fingers. Ideally, what you would do is cut off a little piece and sacrifice this. And now you've got a flat, stable base. And this is what I would recommend to beginner cooks, or people who are just a little bit unsure of their knife skills. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and roast these two. I could probably get one more slice off of this. Let's do it, let's do it. Again, I've got my fingers curled under here because knife safety is very important. Ah, yay, okay. Whew, that's a workout, I'm telling you. All right, we're gonna spread these out. And they're not even gonna fit on my cookie sheet. We'll make it work. We will make this work. I'm prioritizing the pretty ones, so we'll see what we can get on here. You know what? If I cut this in half, because again, it's not really pretty, and this is gonna be for leftovers. There we go. Haha, got it all on the sheet. All right, I'm gonna spray this with some olive oil spray, and then we're going to add some salt and pepper, and then flip them over. Woo, not that much pepper. Got a little crazy on that. Okay, flip them over and spray the other side. Okay, so I've got my oven set to 400, like I said, and we are going to roast these until they are fork tender, because they will go in for a second cooking, but not for very long, mostly just to melt the cheese. So you want to be able to get your fork in there and make sure that they're almost all the way cooked through for this first baking. And how long will that take? I'm not really sure, because it's been a while since I've made this dish. I will insert it here. How I always cook, I just kind of play it by ear. I'm guessing it's gonna be about 20 minutes. Oh, my hand is doing that thing. So when I touch butternut squash, let me know, does this happen to anybody else? It's so weird. It's like, you can't really see it. There's like a shiny texture, and it just starts to feel like my skin is drying out. It'll last for a little while, and then it gets back to normal. Pop these in the oven. See you later. Okay, so my sausage is cooked, and now we are going to make some tomato sauce. So I don't know if this will show up on camera, but yeah, you see how it's like flaky? Okay, I know this is gross for a cooking video, but seriously, I've never heard of anybody else that, see, this hand is not doing it because this is the hand that I use my knife, but this hand I was using to hold the squash, and the skin gets almost like if when you put Elmer's glue on it, you know, in elementary school, and then you want to peel it off, it gets like this weird shiny and then dried texture, and it feels really weird for like a while. I don't know, I'm just weird. So you can 100%, and most of the time I probably would use a jarred like spaghetti type sauce. I forgot to buy it, and when I forget to buy something at the grocery store, usually that's when I will go and sub or get creative, because I don't like having to run back out to the grocery store. So I'm using just plain tomato sauce, and then I'm going to use some of this tomato paste from a tube. And the great thing about this is when you only need a little bit, this tube keeps it all nice and fresh, and you can keep this in the refrigerator and just add a little bit to different sauces and stuff that you need. And you're not wasting, you know, what's in your can, or having to put it in a Ziploc bag and try to freeze it or whatnot. This is just definitely a little convenience. All right, so I added some salt, and again, some more pepper. I'm gonna add some garlic powder. Fresh garlic would be perfect too, but I'm just making this quick here. I'm gonna add some basil. And then my secret to marinara sauces is adding a drizzle of olive oil and a pat of butter. That pat of butter just adds a creaminess that just is like that secret. It kind of takes away the acidity of tomato sauce, and just a really good hint. All right, so I'm gonna let that simmer while our butternut squash is cooking. I'm gonna give it a quick stir to get those seasonings mixed in. All right, we're gonna go ahead and check them, and the fork goes right in. So we're gonna pull them out and possibly flip them over. 400 curled eyelashes. I'm gonna flip these over, and then, because again, you know, they're super fork tender, so that means they're pretty much done. I was gonna flip them over. I thought they might have more color on this side, but I think because I used the parchment paper, they didn't really get color on either side, but that's okay. I wasn't really going for browning on these. See, like that one got a little brown because it wasn't on the parchment paper. Now to assemble these. Yum, 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 yum. All right, so my oven is still on 400 degrees because we're gonna pop these back in to melt the cheese. And basically all I'm gonna do is carefully try to spread around some of this sausage. And again, if you wanted to make it vegetarian or vegan, you know, I think mushrooms would be really good, but I'm very curious what other people might suggest. So comment below. And I'll do the rest in a second, but I like these with goat cheese. So I buy these goat cheese crumbles, and the goat cheese, the butternut squash, the tomato, it is just an amazing flavor combination. But my kids and husband actually aren't big fans of goat cheese, and I know a lot of people aren't, so that's totally fine. And so on everyone else's and the extras, because I'll probably be the ones eating the leftovers, and these freeze very well, by the way, I'm just going to use some shredded mozzarella. This is Italian style blend. They sell like pizza blend, you know, whatever. And I'll just top them like that, and we'll pop it back in the oven just to get the cheese kind of melted, and we'll plate and taste. Okay, so y'all know me. So as I was putting them in the oven, I was like, you know what? I actually want the cheese to be browned. So I went ahead and changed it to broiling. So I've got it right up underneath there on the broiler, and we're gonna keep a very close eye on it. And then for the extras, I'm actually just gonna chop those up with the extra sausage and kind of like make it into a loose casserole dish, and that'll make really good leftovers. And it won't be as fancy, but who cares, right? They just came out of the oven. They look amazing. The one with the Italian blend kind of got a little bit more browned than the goat cheese ones, but that's all good. So the way that I like to plate these up is to get a little puddle of tomato sauce and smear it around the plate like they do at fancy restaurants. And then I'm gonna get 2 of my goat cheese ones. Oh, these did take about 15 minutes to cook. Depending on how thick you cut your squash, it's gonna change how long they will take. And I'm gonna put that on, and there we go. Let me show you. All right, they just look amazing. So I'm gonna go ahead and give them a taste and see if they taste as good as I remember. Because like I said, this is a dish, it's been a couple years since I've made it. Get some of that goat cheese, some of the sausage, and the squash. Honestly, I think the goat cheese is just so perfect. But if you're not a goat cheese person, I get that you wouldn't like it, but it adds just like creaminess, that contrast with the tomato sauce. So good. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button. It helps the algorithm. It's like giving me a free tip. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you get more great cooking videos from me where we have fun exploring in the kitchen. What was that? Like, subscribe, comment below. I love chatting with you guys. So please leave a comment. Tell me if you've had anything like this before, or a dish that might be similar. I would love to hear about it. And I will see y'all on the next video. Bye.